What if King Charles III embraced Islam and the entire United Kingdom woke up to a reality they never expected? King Charles III had finished his midnight prayer and was now quietly waiting for Salah Fajr. Across the United Kingdom, whispers began to spread. Would this mean new expectations for society? Some feared that women might be asked to wear the hijab, that interest-based systems could be removed, that pork might be banned, or even that Sharia law would be introduced. The uncertainty alone was enough to spark debate, confusion, and strong reactions. But are these fears based on reality or assumptions? Would such changes even be possible? And what would actually happen in a modern constitutional monarchy? Back then, when King Charles III was still the young and handsome Prince Charles, especially during his time with Princess Diana, the relationship between the British monarchy and Islam was far less visible and certainly less amplified than it is today. There was no social media, no viral debates, no instant global reactions. Personal matters stayed relatively private and public narratives were shaped slowly through traditional media. Today, everything is exposed, analyzed, and sometimes exaggerated within seconds. If such a personal transformation had happened back then, would the world even react the same way? Or has the digital age completely changed how we perceive faith, power, and identity? Today, people can freely explore Islamic content across social media, lectures, debates, discussions, and personal journeys are just one click away. The growth of Islam in Western countries, including Britain, has become more visible and widely discussed. As a result, the royal family naturally draws more attention, especially on matters related to faith and cultural engagement. King Charles III himself has shown a gesture of inclusivity, such as sending Ramadan greetings and supporting interfaith dialogue, even attending or acknowledging iftar events. But do these actions signal something deeper, or are they simply part of a modern monarch's role in a diverse society? King Charles III has his own personal freedom to choose his beliefs despite his status as King of England. Yet that freedom comes with a profound dilemma. As the head of a constitutional monarchy and the symbolic leader of the Church of England, his role is deeply tied to tradition, history, and national identity. Any personal shift, especially in matters of faith, would not be seen as purely individual, but institutional. Could a king separate his private conviction from public duty? Or would every personal decision inevitably reshape how the monarchy itself is perceived? In fact, several prominent British figures have already embraced Islam, such as Yusuf Islam and Lauren Booth. Their journey sparked curiosity, debate, and for some, a deeper desire to understand Islam beyond stereotypes. When public figures make such personal decisions, it often leads to wider conversations across society. If individuals from influential backgrounds can explore and even embrace Islam, could it naturally raise questions about others in similar circles, including King Charles III? And if so, would those questions come from genuine curiosity, speculation, or something else entirely? In recent decades, Islam has become one of the fastest-growing religions in the United Kingdom, with Muslim communities expanding in major cities and contributing to the country's cultural landscape. In places like London, Birmingham, and Bradford, Islamic influences are visible through mosques, halal business, and vibrant communities shaped by generations of Muslim immigrants. There had also been cases where underused church buildings were proposed to other uses, including mosques, reflecting demographic and social change. While many see this as part of a diverse and evolving society, others quietly wonder, could traditional culture identify faith over time? Now, before we go any further, it's important to clarify, when you heard me saying that King Charles III was engaging in Islamic practices, this is not what actually happened. This is purely a hypothetical scenario, an imaginative explorations of what if, rather than a statement of fact. The purpose is not to claim or suggest reality, but to reflect on possibilities, perceptions, and reactions in today's world. So as you continue watching, keep in mind, this is a thought experiment designed to explore ideas, not to accept them. So what would actually happen if King Charles III embraced Islam? In reality, far less would change than many might fear. The United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy, meaning Real political power lies with parliament, not the king. Laws about finance, food, or national policy cannot simply be altered by personal belief. Even his symbolic role as the head of the Church of England is bound by long-standing constitutional expectations. Rather than triggering sudden societal change, such a decision would more likely spark public discussion, media attention, and perhaps deeper curiosity about Islam itself. In other words, the biggest impact would not be legal, but psychological and cultural. People might imagine dramatic transformations, but reality is often more grounded. No sudden bans, no overnight system changes, no forced cultural shift. Instead, there would be questions, debates, and perhaps a moment of reflections across society. Could it challenge stereotypes? Could it open new conversations? Or would it simply remain a personal journey within a very public role? Before jumping to conclusions, it's important to pause for a moment and separate imagination from reality. This scenario was never meant to predict the future, but to explore how we think, react, and interpret sensitive topics. And sometimes, the reactions themselves reveal more than the situations we imagine. It's not really about whether King Charles III would convert, and it's not about fear of sudden system changes or cultural replacement. Because in reality, systems are not that fragile and beliefs are not that simple. What this conversation truly reveals is something deeper. How we react to the unknown, how quickly assumptions can shape fear, and how little we sometimes understand about each other. Would a personal journey of faith really change a nation? Or would it simply challenge the way we see it? Perhaps the real question was never about the king, but about us.